Have you ever watched the person you love become a complete stranger right before your eyes? The screen of her phone cast a pale, ghostly light on her face at 2 in the morning, a sight that had become my unwelcome ritual. Her thumb moved in a blur, a secret conversation unfolding in the dark, while I pretended to be asleep beside her. She called it her book club, a new hobby with a group of women from her yoga class. They met every Wednesday night at a chic wine bar in downtown Chicago, the Crimson Vine on Rush Street, but they never seemed to talk about books. The mystery wasn't just what they were discussing. It was the chilling, unfamiliar smile that played on her lips as she typed, a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in years. I knew, with a certainty that settled like ice in my gut, that this book club was a lie. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The lie began subtly. Amelia, my wife of 10 years, started dressing differently for her Wednesday nights. The comfortable sweaters she used to love were replaced by silk blouses and skirts that felt more like armor. Her laughter, once a warm melody that filled our home, became brittle and sharp, reserved for the friends on her phone. I'd ask what book they were reading, and she'd wave a dismissive hand. "Oh, just some modern fiction." "Mark, you'd find it boring." The titles she gave me were always vague, and when I looked them up, they were either obscure or didn't exist. The first real crack in my denial appeared on a credit card statement. A charge for 2, not 1. At a restaurant, I knew the Crimson Vine's owner also operated a much more intimate, expensive place called the Cypress Room, 2 blocks away. It was dated on a Wednesday. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now her constant companion, clutched like a lifeline. She'd take calls in the other room, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. The password, once our anniversary was changed. When I gently questioned her about the growing distance between us, her eyes turned to steel. "Don't be so needy, Mark," she'd snap, the words a slap in the face. "I'm allowed to have my own life, aren't I? Or is your insecurity going to suffocate me?" She was a master of manipulation, twisting my genuine concern into a character flaw. The woman I married, the one who held my hand through my father's funeral and celebrated my every small success, was gone. In her place was this cold, calculating stranger who looked at me with something bordering on contempt. The villains of this story, and whoever was on the other end of that phone, felt untouchable, wrapped in a cocoon of arrogance. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. I'd come home early, hoping to surprise her, maybe cook her favorite meal and try to reconnect. I found her in the living room, on the phone, her back to me. "I know, Julian. I miss you too," she murmured, her voice soft and intimate in a way that made my blood run cold. "Just one more day. Mark has no idea. He's so wrapped up in his own little world he wouldn't notice if the house was on fire." She laughed, a sound that shattered my heart into a million pieces. I backed away silently, the walls of my own home closing in on me. I spent that night in a cheap hotel off the I-90. The city lights of Chicago, a cruel mockery of the darkness that had consumed my world. The humiliation was a physical weight, pressing down on me until I could barely breathe. But as the sun rose, something inside me shifted. The grief curdled into a cold, hard resolve. She was right about one thing. The old Mark wouldn't have noticed, but a new one was just born. My revenge began not with a bang, but with a click. The click of a keylogger I installed on her laptop. The click of a private investigator's camera shutter. I became a ghost in my own life, meticulously gathering proof. Texts, emails, hotel receipts from the Thompson Chicago and the Gold Coast. Photos of Amelia and Julian, a smug-looking finance bro from her office kissing in a parking garage on LaSalle Street. Every piece of evidence was a fresh stab to my heart, but I channeled the pain into fuel. I learned that their book club was just the two of them. Their next meeting was a special one, a weekend getaway to a boutique hotel in Miami, South Beach. While they were planning their romantic escape, I was meeting with the best divorce attorney in the city. We set the traps, legal and social. I transferred our joint savings into a new account in my name only, leaving just enough to avoid immediate suspicion. I compiled a dossier, a digital folder filled with every sordid detail of her affair, complete with dates, times, and photographic evidence. The night of the public exposure was a Wednesday, their usual book club night. But this time I crashed the meeting. Amelia had told me she was going to the Crimson Vine, but my pie had confirmed their reservation was at a Michelin-starred restaurant Alinea. I waited until their main course arrived. I had arranged for a process server, a stoic man in a crisp suit, to approach their table. He placed the divorce papers directly in front of Amelia. "Amelia Sterling," he said, his voice carrying across the hushed restaurant. "You've been served." Her face went white. Julian looked around, panicked, like a cornered rat.
Oh.
But I wasn't finished. At that exact moment, an email was sent from a secure, anonymous address. The recipients were the entire executive board of her company, including the CEO and Julian's wife. The subject line was simple: an issue of professional conduct. Attached was the dossier, the photos, the hotel bills, the sickeningly sweet texts. Everything. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Amelia was fired for violating the company's code of conduct, her affair with a subordinate creating a massive HR liability. Julian's wife, a woman from a very influential family, filed for divorce and made it her mission to ruin him financially and professionally. Amelia came back to our house, a shell of the arrogant woman she had been. She found the locks changed and a single box of her things on the porch. She tried to scream, to cry, to bargain, but I just watched her from the window, feeling nothing but a vast, cold emptiness. Her social circle, built on a foundation of lies and status, evaporated. She was left with nothing. No job, no husband, no lover, no friends, just the ruin she had built for herself. I sold the house in Chicago and moved to a small, quiet town on the coast of Oregon. I never spoke to her again. Sometimes late at night, when the sound of the ocean is the only thing I can hear, I think about her. I don't feel anger anymore, or even satisfaction. I just feel the quiet, haunting echo of a life that was, and the chilling knowledge of what a person is capable of when everything they love is taken away. The end.